Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Meadsy69 and welcome back to a channel. Now today we're going to be talking a little bit different. We're not going to be talking about a tank in general. We're not going to review a tank or replay or anything like that. We're actually going to be talking about the game itself. Now, a few other people have done recent videos talking about Blitz and where they see Blitz going, what's wrong with Blitz. So I actually decided to make my own video. So I do have to thank Droodles on Blitz. Do go check him out. He's got a fantastic channel. He's a great player. Do go sub him. And also Fugit on Blitz. Both links are in the description for their channels, where they talk about Blitz itself. And I think Droodles, his video was about 40 or just over 40 minutes. So he really went into the depths of what was wrong with the game, what he thinks is wrong with the game, what wargaming can do to try and fix the game. Now, so what is wrong with the game? Where is there anything wrong with the game? Now, there is being a community contributor. People seem to think that I get paid from wargaming, or wargaming pay me to say that a certain tank's OP, or wargaming pay me to tell people to buy a tank. This is not true. This is not true. As a contributor, I have my own opinion. I have my own opinion just like everyone else has. And if I like a tank that comes for sale, I am going to tell you that I like the tank. It has nothing to do with wargaming. They're not telling any contributor to do nothing. We don't get paid nothing from wargaming. Absolutely nothing. I mean, we get a press account, and that is basically it for being a contributor. We get some information. I mean, I'm NDA, so I get certain information early, so I can go make videos like what's coming into store, so I can get my videos done ready for when this tank hits the store. So as soon as the tank hits the store, my video is then released. But for the game itself, what is the big issue? Now, the big issues coming out is, one, matchmaking. People obviously complaining about matchmaking. The second is things, premiums, overpowered premium tanks, etc., etc. And then you could say probably the third is maybe events. So we're going to cover all these. So we're going to talk matchmaking at first. Now, I've been through this in a previous matchmaking video. People want skilled-based matchmaking. That will not work. It will not work for skilled-based matchmaking. If you want skilled-based matchmaking, go and play ratings. Yes, of course, at first you're going to get these new players who want to try ratings, but the higher ratings you go up, the better the players are going to be. So if wargaming done skill-based matchmaking, you're going to have 60% players versus 60% players, and you're only going to win half the time. So your win rate is going to go to 50%. If 40% players versus 40% players, again, they are going to win half of their battles. So their win rate will become 50%. So eventually, you're going to have everyone's win rate at 50%, and the matchmaker is back to square one. So matchmaker, I don't see as an issue too much. I mean, wargaming have done an awful lot with matchmaking. Remember the days where it was +2, -2, and you would have 5 tier 10s on one team and 4 tier 10s on another, and then a couple, maybe you might have a couple with tier 8s on one team and only 1 tier 8 on another, when this was +2, -2. And this is another thing that people are asking for. They want +2, -2 matchmaking back. I personally don't. I mean, I don't mind it because I love +2, -2, don't get me wrong. And for me personally, I play a lot of tier 10, so it would only be an advantage to me playing against some tier 10s. But the biggest issue with the matchmaking now is the bad players. And what has caused this bad players in, say, tier 10, tier 9, tier 8, is the update 5.5. And this was where Wargaming decided to take all the lower tier tanks and put them all as collectibles and make the tech tree a lot more easier. So, but by doing that, they have now, just like Droodle said in his video, these players that don't know how to play are now getting a tier 10 tank much quicker. When I first started Blitz, I had about 5 or maybe 6 tier 5 tanks before I had a tier 7. They can't do that now. They don't want to do that. They play one tier and they go up to tier 10. So within 1,000 battles, within maybe even less than that, they've got themselves a tier 10 tank. And so that for me is the biggest issue with the matchmaking, is there is just so many bad players. Now don't forget, I'm not talking about 45% players or 48%, because the average win rate in Blitz is 48%. So anything above 48% is not bad. And I've had battles where 48% players have done really well. I've had battles where 60% players have done really bad. It just is the way that happens. So the matchmaking, I don't think, is a big issue. I mean, Wargaming, as I've said, they've done a lot with the matchmaking. They now try and even it out for tank types. I mean, you used to get 7 TDs against 7 medium tanks. That is no more. That will never ever happen. They do try and even it out, and to be honest, they have done a pretty good job of that, if I'm honest. So matchmaking, as I've said, is not an issue. Now, what is an issue is premium tanks. Fair enough, there is some premium tanks that I wouldn't say is OP, but other people will, like the Object 252U. I don't think that's OP. It's a very good tank. I don't think it's OP. You have these tier 10 collectible tanks and premium tanks, the T22s, the Chieftains. Now this, for me, is the biggest problem with matchmaking, is these tanks. You can start Blitz. You can open up Blitz for the very first time and you can go and buy yourself a T22 when it comes for sale for gold or for money, if you get lucky in some crates. So you can have 0 battles and you can get yourself a tier 10 tank. Now that is, for me, the biggest issue. Now Wargaming won't stop this because Wargaming is a company. Wargaming is a company, they need to make money. If no one buys premium tanks, there is no longer a company. As simple as that. If no one buys premium tanks, there is no game. So I like buying premium tanks because I just enjoy it. I mean, I've got my own money. It's my money, and to be honest, I could do what I want with my money. If that's to spend it on crates, to spend it on premium time, to spend it on premium tanks, whatever, collectibles, anything. That is my money and that is my decision. But what I don't like is the fact that you can go and get yourself a tier 10 tank straight away, or a tier 9, or even a tier 8. So what I would like to see, which will never happen, ever happen, because it will cost a fortune for Wargaming, is the ability to not be able to purchase a premium tank until you are up to that tier in the tech tree. So if you're doing the tech tree and you're only up to tier 5, you can only purchase a tier 5 premium tank. So when you get to tier 6, you unlock the tier 6 premium tanks. Tier 7, tier 8, tier 9, tier 10, etc. So that will stop these new players that think that a T22, they heard a T22 is OP, they go and buy a T22, but they are absolutely shocking in it because it's not the tank, it's them. And they're at tier 10 straight away without even trying. I like the tier 10, don't get me wrong, I like the tier 10 premiums, I like playing them, but do I think they should be there? No, I don't think they should be there. It just takes away the whole object of grinding the tech trees. And you've got nothing, as soon as you buy yourself a tier 10 premium, you've really got nothing else to play for going by the tech tree. So the premium tanks, I think, is a little bit of an issue there. Nice double upper right there. Also, OP tanks. I mean, Droodles also said about the Kennyotsu that why can't they just get rid of it? Because it's completely broke in the tier. Yes, it is completely broke in the tier. Not many people have bought the tank, so why couldn't they just give their money back? Wargaming don't want to do this, and they won't do this because not a lot of people have the tank. So it doesn't really break the matchmaking because there is not a lot of people that have the tank. So what about the Smasher? I mean, I own the Smasher, and it's completely broke. It is completely broke. And that then defeats the object of grinding a unique tank like the KV2 that has just been nerfed, or like the SU-152. Why would I play a KV2 or an SU-152 when I can go and play my Smasher, which is much better, much broke? So you've also got the WZ-120 1FT, which is completely broke. So this is a problem they shouldn't be making. And again, I'm going to say a lot about Droodles because he done a very good video, and he said about the premium tanks, like, they shouldn't be pay to win and they shouldn't be OP. In fact, if you're going to buy, say, an IS, say like an IS-5, it shouldn't be better than the tech tree version, which is the IS-3. The IS-3 should be better. It should be better. Premium tanks are not there to be OP. They're there to make credits. They're there to make credits, and that is what they should be. Yes, they should be good tanks, but broke tanks? No, they shouldn't be. So premium tanks are a big issue. The pricing of the tanks is, I could say, a big issue, because some of them are a lot of money. But then again, if you wait, then eventually the tanks will come for cheaper. So you can purchase them tanks another time. So if a new premium tank comes available, it's going to be more money because of the rarity of it. And then they're going to sell it again. It's not as rare, so it's going to be a little bit cheaper. Which to me, for me, that's fine. That's fine to do. So that then brings me on to the next subject, which is crates. Yes, we're going to talk about crates again. So people talk about crates as if crates is a big problem. Now, for me, the crates itself, in Blitz, Wargaming having crates is not an issue. I don't mind crates whatsoever. What I don't like is crates for like tier 8 tanks, tier 9 and tier 10 premium tanks or collectible tanks. Then yes, I agree, they should be in crates, and if I'm honest, they should only be in crates. They shouldn't then come for sale. They should just be a rarity for tier 10. We don't want tier 10 covered in premium tanks. I mean, the T22 I love, and again, it's a tank I don't think is OP, but it's a good tank. A lot of people will disagree with me because of the armor. Yes, it probably does need an armor nerf, but this year's Twister Cup is going to be full of T22s. What is the fun of that? I mean, look at the first Twister Cup. It was full of IS-7s and Object 140s, tech tree tanks. Now it's going to be full of T22s. So crates, I think, should only be for tier 9 and tier 10. The big issue for crates is not the price, not the percentage in chance. I mean, sometimes you get 1%, 2%, 5%, maybe sometimes 10% chance in getting the tank. For me, that's not an issue. The issue for me is what you get in the crates. I mean, if you don't win the crate, if you don't win the tank, you basically win nothing. Wargaming value, for some reason, Wargaming value, and I'm literally copying Skate what he said in his video about this. They value free XP, and they value boosters, and they value avatars. Now that for me is not a win. If I spend £10 on crates, or if I spend £50 on 5 crates, I don't want to win a few free XP. I've got 50,000 battles. I own every single tier 10 in the tank. Free XP for me is totally useless. Credits, I don't want to win credits. I have 70 million credits. Credits mean nothing. Boosters mean nothing because I have nothing to grind. So they value these things. They value them quite high, especially now the avatars. They value avatars so high, when in fact they are just, you know, it's nothing. It's not like a camo. It's doesn't make your tank look pretty. It just makes your side bit on your name with a little picture. It's totally pointless. I mean, some avatars are quite nice. I mean, I've got gold on my account, and I've just bought the clown camo for 600 gold because I've got nothing else to spend the gold on. And the clown camo, the clown avatar looks pretty neat, to be honest. But to win crates, I mean, to win avatars and boosters in a crate that you've just spent 50 quid on, it's shambles. It really is bad. How about if I buy a T22 crate if I buy crates for £50, I'd be happy if I walked away with different tanks. Maybe obviously credits for people that don't. A lot of people don't have credits, but different tanks. Maybe a tier 8 tank, maybe a tech tree tank, a Luva or a T34 or something. I've got these tanks, but a lot of people doesn't. So it'll be a lot more better if they did that. I mean, the first winter fair, I spent about £200 on the winter fair, and I got about £300 worth back. So that is what they need to do. I mean, the badger crates, I spent over £200 on the badger crates. I walked away with no badger and shit ton of boosters and a little bit of free XP. Am I happy with that? No, I'm not. Would I be happy if I won different tanks? I mean, not just the badger, other tanks. Yes, I would be. So that for me is the biggest problem with crates, is what you get in return if you don't get the tank. So that is the crates covered. The next thing is events. People complain about events. Now, they don't understand events. Wargaming put on a lot of events, and it's great. It's fantastic. Yes, it brings out the noobish players, and sometimes you can have a terrible run where sometimes these events you need to win. How about maybe don't do the event where you get certain things if you win. Maybe do it done by damage or something like that. So wins are not that important. But the events, I think, are fantastic. I mean, they've just done an event where you could win a Type 59. A pattern. They've done an event where you can win the EXP. They've just done an event where you can win 3 tanks, the Y5, ELC, the T34, etc. That is a good event. I've just got 3 tanks for absolutely nothing, and they weren't hard to do. They were quite easy. Now, the tanks like the 59 pattern, the event like the 59 pattern, people complain because it was too hard. Now, what people don't understand is if they made it easy, you're going to have tier 8 filled with 59 patterns. Events are not there to get free tanks. I mean, if you do well enough, you'll get yourself a free tank. They're there to dramatically reduce the cost of that tank. I mean, if you've done pretty well in the event, didn't quite get the tank, but you can finish the event with gold, you could potentially get the tank for 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 gold. That's good. That is good, but people don't understand that. They just think the event is there to win a free tank. It's not like that. If you're good enough, you can get the tank. If not, you'll just get a massive reduction on the price of the tank, which I think is perfect, and that is really, really good in my opinion. So that is basically the events all covered, everything all covered. The only other thing that they need to start doing is tutorials. They need to start doing tutorials. We've told Wargaming this so many times. Tutorials, just little 2-minute clips, how to side scrape, how to angle, how to circle of death someone. That is all it needs. That is all it needs. And the biggest problem for me with Wargaming, I mean, I'm not going to badmouth Wargaming at all because they've done a lot for me and my channel. But for me, the worst thing is communication. Communication is the worst thing. I mean, Wargaming have recently made a Discord server with over 40,000 people in it. Now, lately there have been a lot of bugs where people's turret gets stuck. There was one a few days ago where no one or hardly anyone on EU could sign in. And Wargaming, they have a channel on their server to report bugs. Who's there? Nobody. So many people reporting bugs that was generally really bad that no one could log on. I mean, we couldn't play the game for nearly 2 days. Because on half of EU couldn't play the game for nearly 2 days. And no one commented. Not even, guys, we're working on it. Nothing. So for me, the biggest issue is communication. We need that communication from the game. We need that from the community managers. That is their job, to get in contact with the community. And that's basically it. I mean, I'm not going to badmouth Wargaming because, as I've said, they've done a lot for me, and they have done good. They have done so many good things in the game. I mean, the best thing that they have ever done, I mean, especially for me, is bring this replays in. The replays was the best thing that they have done. And for me personally, it's made my channel because I don't have to worry about recording battles no more. I just play. I've lost so many replays back in the day because ace battles because I forgot to press record. So replays is amazing. Also, the matchmaking, they are trying. I mean, they've introduced this new matchmaking where the AFK players, especially the serial AFK players, the serial trollers, they get put into this matchmaking. Now, people probably won't have noticed, but it will take time. It will take time for this to, you might not even ever notice it. But they've done well there. Events, tournaments, all this that they've done really, really well. I mean, Tankfest 2019, they put on a great show. It was a fantastic weekend. Now, all I hope for Wargaming is just the crates. I mean, I've told Wargaming this in person. Like, not stop with the crates, but just make them worthwhile. Make them worthwhile. But that is basically it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little rant. Let me know in the comments what you think Wargaming needs to do to get better, to start getting these players back. I'd love to know what you think. But I'm Meadsy69. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.